Hey, this is Sebastian for the Metal Gods Meltdown, and I'm joined by...
This is Henry from God Dethroned.
The World Ablaze is a phenomenal album and an important history lesson, as well as a bone-crushing album. How important is it to you personally that the First World War is kept alive and never forgotten?
Well, it's an important part of history, and it seems like not many people know about it. And when I was confronted with it myself, I was so intrigued that I wanted to write an album about it. So we did the Passchendaele album in 2009. That was our first concept album about World War I. And then that was such a success. And that we did another one under the sign of the Iron Cross. And now we finished a trilogy with The World Ablaze. And it is important that it's kept alive. And, you know, if you would go to a city like Yper in Belgium, for example, you will find lots of English people there every weekend visiting the graves of their relatives. So it is quite a big thing.
Yeah, I've been to Ypres myself and to Meningate, and it's very important. So is that what first really got you interested in the whole First World War then?
Yeah, it was by accident actually, because as you may know, our country, the Netherlands, was neutral during World War I. So when you go to school, they won't teach you anything about that war. So it's like almost unknown to us. But we had a guitar player from Belgium, Isaac de la Haye, who is now with Epica, and he was with us back in the day. And I would visit him on a regular basis, and he lives in Yper. And then when I visited him, I saw all the war memorial signs, you know, the Menin Gate, all the cemeteries, the War Museum, and I was so overwhelmed by that I started digging into its history. And it was quite something, that war, actually.
It is a superb release. What would you say is your favourite track on The World's Ablaze today, and why?
That's a difficult question, because, you know, we've been working on the album for months, so you lose all objectivity. And actually I played it last night just to hear it again, because I put it aside for a couple of weeks because I heard too much of that album. But, you know, I think I like most of the songs. I think most of them are really great. Annihilation Crusade, and also Escape Across the Ice. The album is very diverse and very dynamic, so, you know, it's not like you're listening to the same song over and over again. It's like really, really diverse album.
Would you guys be having a release party?
Yeah, we're having 5, as a matter of fact. 2 in Germany, and then 1 in Belgium, and then 2 in the Netherlands. So actually, normally we would do 1 or maybe 2, but this time it's 5 because there was a huge demand for it. So I guess it's a good sign.
Can you tell me what are the plans for tour-wise and festival-wise for 2017?
Yeah, we have some festivals lined up, like the Partisan Open Air, With Full Force, the Dong Open Air, and some other ones. And we're looking into a tour right now in the fall. We have options to do a European tour, a US tour, and a Japanese tour. But we're just looking into it, and we have options, but we haven't made any decisions yet. But it's very likely that we will tour the world again.
I mean, you've played some of the biggest metal festivals in the world, but if I could ask you to pick your favourite ever appearance, which one would it be and why?
Yeah, I guess maybe the Graspop Metal Meeting in Belgium, because of the great atmosphere. We played that twice. But, it's so hard to answer that question because we played so many great places for such a great audience that to name one is almost impossible. But if you have to have one, then it's Graspop Metal Meeting in Belgium. Of
course, you formed back in 1991. Did you ever think you'd still be playing and delivering such awesome albums in 2017?
No, that would be... I could never have thought that. It's impossible to know how long a band will last. We've had several problems in the past with lineup changes and stuff like that. So I would never have believed that we would still be here today. But I'm glad that we are.
Can you remember the first time you played in front of a live audience and how it felt to have people listening to you?
Yeah, I do remember that. And it was terrible. We were drunk as fuck and we played a horrible show, but it was great at the same time. But I do remember, yeah.
Which 4 tracks from the band's history would you play me to introduce me to your band if I was a God Dethroned virgin?
I think it would be Boiling Blood from the Bloody Blasphemy album, Under a Silver Moon from the Grand Grimoire album, No Man's Land from Passchendaele, I guess Soul Capture 1562 also from the Bloody Blasphemy album. I think that's a nice overview of our songs.
Thousands of soldiers die every day. Wounded scream in agony. Witness the last attack of the cavalry. They're shot to pieces. Artillery creating a landscape equal to the moon. Whose born will steal through no man's land. Bullets blow to get him come. No man's land. Only the rats will fact of attrition. Governmental threats of dead soldiers. Lonesome, blooded creatures of light and biggest cats. Morale from the army was singing in the swamps of the science. Vicious in victory. We're out for war, war to the death. Those born will steal through no man's land. Bullets blow to kingdom come. No man's land. Stuck on the bayonet or shot and torn. Life expectancy, there is none. Stuck on the bayonet, or shot and torn. Life expectancy, there is none. Men slipped and slithered through bloody soil and battleground. Defenses were gone and crossed like terriers. Intent on fleshing rats from a hole. Those forms of steel
totally new to heavy metal, which 2 albums would you give me to introduce me to the scene?
Well, I would give you the albums that got me into the scene, and the first one is Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden. I think I was like 13 when that one came out, and it overwhelmed me. I thought it was the best thing I ever heard, and it was the day that I decided I wanted to be a musician myself. And the other one would be one of my other big influences. I would play Peace Sells, But Who's Buying from Megadeth.
We already answered the next question, but apart from your own album, what was the last album you listened to?
Muse. It was one of the Muse albums.
And can you tell me why we should buy The World Ablaze?
Well, you should support you should support the underground, I suppose. And you know, it's not an album that will disappoint you, first of all. And if you want to spend $1 extra, you get the version with the bonus DVD, which has the Grassport Metal Meeting show in its entirety on it, also the Rock Hard Festival show, and one song from the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. So it's not only the album, but it's also a great DVD with a great sound.
Do you have any final words for your fans and our listeners?
Yeah, well, check out the new album, and we hope to see you guys on tour soon. This is Henry from God Dethroned, and you're listening to the Metal Gods Meltdown. Another body maimed, praying for a swift